With the right frequency, anything becomes achievable, even levitation. Randall Carlson talks about it on the Joe Rogan podcast. Take a look.
Everything vibrates at a frequency, and if you know that frequency, you can control things. This is the model, and this is diagramming all the frequencies of the elements and what their vibrational frequencies are and the numbers that measure those frequencies. And they're all the numbers we get from looking at these ancient traditions that recur over and over and over again.
And so through this technology, they're able to move stones or cut stones or all the above?
All the above.
This helps us understand how the cut in the mysterious Al Nasser rock formation in Saudi Arabia might have happened. There are two huge boulders, and they're split by a really smooth crack, indicating someone used advanced methods for cutting. Regarding levitation, let me show you some evidence. In 2015, a device built by a team in Spain successfully levitated and manipulated small objects with sound.
We call these transducers, which is just a fancy word for speakers. These speakers, they only work at one frequency, and this frequency is 40 kilohertz, which we shouldn't be able to hear. Only bats, dogs, and other animals should be able to hear 40 kilohertz. But because the ultrasound is so powerful, if we put some particles, they should be kept in midair with the power of sound. And all these things that they are just being like kept there with air, actually it's not air, it's the ultrasound pushing them from all directions.
Here's an interesting old video of an acoustic levitation device by Dr. David Deek. Scientists already knew that sound waves create oscillating pockets of pressurized air, which can produce a force on an object capable of counteracting the pull of gravity. But while ultrasound levitation devices do exist, they all rely on standing waves created when two sound waves of the same frequency are emitted from opposite directions and superimposed on one another. That means all previous devices require two sets of transducers. In 1987, Dr. David Deek designed and built an acoustic levitation and did a microgravity experiment for NASA-related subject matter. The 12-inch cubed plexiglass Helmholtz resonant cavity has 3 speakers attached to the cubed bioluminescent acoustic waveguides. By applying a continuous resonant 600 Hz sound wave and adjusting the amplitude and phase relationship amongst the 3 speakers, he could control levitation and movement in all 3 axes of the ambient space. The research was used to show the effects of microgravity conditions in orbit in the space shuttle environment. In addition, there is evidence for a whole new type of medicine in which DNA can be influenced and reprogrammed by words and frequencies without cutting out and replacing single genes. Jerdef and his team successfully transformed frog embryos to salamander embryos simply by transmitting the DNA information pattern through frequency alone. Gergiev's research group proved that with this method, chromosomes damaged with X-rays, for example, can be repaired. They even captured information patterns of a particular DNA and transmitted it to another, thus reprogramming cells to another genome. So they successfully transformed, for example, frog embryos into salamander embryos simply by transmitting the DNA information patterns, according to Russian researchers. Our DNA is not only responsible for the construction of our body, but also serves as data storage and communication. The Russian linguists found that the genetic code, especially in the useless 90%, follows the same rules as all our human languages. To this end, they compared the rules of syntax, semantics, and the basic rules of grammar. They found that the alkalines of our DNA follow regular grammar and have set rules just like our languages. So human languages did not appear coincidentally, but are a reflection of our inherent DNA.